part I want to show you is the Extrude tool. And I showed you how I had intentionally made the divisions around so that there's a face here. So I wanted to show you what the Extrude tool can do. And you can find the Extrude tool in your Edit Mesh Extrude option box, or I like to go, let's go to the modeling toolkit here and you can hit Extrude. There's a lot of different things here. We'll talk about those in a bit, but basically I can pull this out, and what that's done is it's created new geometry. It's created still has that face, and it's made sides all the way around that face, and I can manipulate this. I can scale this in. So if I want to create some sort of spout here, and if you remember what I just said a second ago about repeating with the G shortcut key, I hit G again, it allows me to repeat that. And I selected off of it, which can be annoying, but I hit the Command Z undo and it brought me back, so I could. I'm going to narrow this down a bit. I'm even going to angle it some because I want this to continue. Let's see, I want it to continue kind of up and over. So I'm going to hit E shortcut and kind of rotate and pull up. I'm going to hit G again. I still haven't done any other tools yet, and kind of rotate this down. And my class could probably give me fits now. They said, Mr. Arnold, where are your reference objects? Because we recently had a lesson about the importance of having reference objects, and I have none here. And that's why this teapot's probably going to look strange. But the idea is you go and use this Extrude tool, and you can pull out a nice shape, and then we can go in after the fact by selecting these components, and we can I can scale them in, scale just these here. And this is why it's so important to really be comfortable with your navigation, your option right mouse, middle mouse, and left mouse buttons, where you can kind of look up and around. And I can just reshape this as long as I want to something I'm comfortable with. And I'm making sure I select these ones kind of behind as well. So that's the Extrude tool. I kind of like that when it's dipped down like that. I'll pull that back. So it's getting to be something that's approximating something that I could live with. These two here, I could go and select one and then the other, but if you remember, we can go to our move tools and turn on our symmetry, and that is in X, and I'm going to have to reselect it. And so now if I make any changes here, it'll do it to both sides. Now this is going to mess up my perfectly round object, but I just wanted to show you how you might be able to begin to use the component tools and techniques we learned before. Alright, so we've looked at the Extrude. Something else I want to show you with the Extrude is really neat, but we're going to have to go to the side view to do it. So I want to go to the side view and see how we made a spout here. I want to make a spout on the other side, and we'll just delete that spout, and maybe we'll build the handle over here. But if we go to create, I'm going to create a curve, and the CV curve tool. I'm in the side view. It's very important. I'll click. I'm just going to do 4 or 5 points, and call that good. And then I can go and I can right click this, and just as an object has components, a curve has components that have control vertices that I can move around. And you want these kind of evenly spaced. Okay. And then what we can do is, one of the options with the extrude is to extrude along a curve. So we can go here and we can select the face and select the curve, and then go to our Edit Mesh Extrude option box. And we could play with the values here, but I'm just going to hit apply, and I'll play with the attributes in the inputs here. So I'm going to hit apply, and well, you were probably expecting something really cool, but that's not cool at all. It's basically an extrude to the end of the curve. Like, why would you do that? Well, let's take a look at the inputs. Lots of inputs. It's going to be the last one here, I think. And there's a few attributes. It's called the poly extrude face. No, it's going to be the very top one, sorry. And at the very bottom there's a couple things I want us to look at. One of the big ones is divisions. So if I click the word and middle mouse click and drag left and right, I can give us a lot more divisions, which is kind of cool. We can also taper it, which makes it smaller. We could give it a twist if we wanted to. It doesn't really fit our teapot, but so there's a couple things you can do with that. So you have this long sweeping curve, and you go and you just extrude along that curve and give yourself divisions, and it kind of makes this shape that we were doing for you. So I'm going to take my divisions back down, and no twist. I might have to enter that by hand. Alright, and it doesn't look great. This very first division it never seems to do quite right. So what I'll do is I'll go in and to the side view, not that side view, and just right click vertex mode. I'm going to select vertex and hit W. I'm going to move this back, and then I can, now notice I'm not clicking. If I click, it's only going to select the one in front. Well, I guess they changed things, but I prefer to drag a box around. That way I know I'm getting the one in the front and the back at the same time, and then we can just kind of manipulate the shape into something